welcome to the Entrepreneur Success Formula podcast, where we'll be getting down to earth with real entrepreneurs who work hard and know that success is more than a mindset, because it takes blood, guts, and a bucket full of luck to survive and thrive in the world of business today. My name is Debbie Mark Smith. I'm the author of the Entrepreneur Success Formula and the host for today's show, and I will be asking 10 quick-fire questions to today's entrepreneurial guest, who is Kirsty Parris from Andromeda Business Consulting. Kirsty is a business therapist who specializes in helping business owners like you out there, focusing on their marketing systems, people and processes, enabling her clients to achieve both their personal and business goals and to realize the true potential of the business. So this is going to be a great conversation. So Kirsty, welcome to the show.
Good morning to you, young man. How are you?
Oh, young man.
Oh, yeah, I'm sucking up to you already.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Always happens when Kirsty and I get together. It's just a bit silly. Yeah. Oh, dear.
We're bad. Yes.
Oh, dear. So, Kirsty, tell us a little bit about Andromeda, and you rebranded recently, actually. So, when did you start the initial business?
No, I mean, I've been Andromeda for 11 years now.
Oh, it was the logo. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So so I've had that logo for 11 years. But the elephant was born.
Oh, it's the elephant. Oh.
Yeah. So that's my elephant. I love my elephant. Because that's always, as I've said to you before, it's always, we talk about the elephant in the room with business owners, which are things that are not going well and things that they're not happy with, or things that they're frightened of and don't always like to talk about it. So I kind of got into this and fell into this. I've had years of being in business. I've had businesses of my own previously, so I totally understand what it is to be in business, and kind of fell into business coaching, and and it was like a natural progression for me. Done a multitude of things, started working within an accountancy practice and helping their clients, and was doing that for several years, and then thought, you know what, this is my thing, and branched out on my own. So yeah, I'm a natural problem solver, and I'm naturally drawn to helping people in distress. So what better job is there than this for that?
Absolutely, 100% with that. So look, for anyone who's just listening on the podcast and not actually watching us on YouTube, there is just behind Kirsty's, I don't know if it's right or left because everything reverses on Zoom, behind one of Kirsty's ears.
It can be whatever you want it to be.
There is an elephant sitting on a piece of rope between two rocks, and it's a very striking image, I have to say. It's very good. So how did you pick up your first ever client?
I think my first ever client would have been when I was in the playground and somebody was in distress. So that would have been my first client, I think. But as a grown-up,
they pay you?
Oh yeah, in sweets.
Oh, excellent. There you go.
Yeah, see, early entrepreneur.
Any youngsters listening to the show? This is
this is how you do it. My very first client, oh wow, I'm just trying to go back now. I think it's harder to find. I think the very first one that I did as Andromeda kind of came over with me from the days of working at the accountancy practice, and I had a few of them that came there. One of them was a couple that had been in business for 30 plus years and had a couple of businesses, and one of them was very successful, the other one was struggling, and it was one that they'd recently taken on, and they had staff and a sales team, which is something they'd not had before in the existing business, and they were bleeding money, and and I came in and helped them look at their systems, their processes, understood what they wanted out of the business, spent a lot of time working with their team, understanding what everyone was doing. And when I spoke to the directors and said that I'd be interviewing their team, they were very much like, oh, well, we can tell you what everyone does. And I said, I can guarantee you that they will be doing things that you don't know that they are doing. Mm-hmm. And they were a bit skeptical about that to start with, but I did it and identified where there were massive gaps in their systems, in their processes, and also the management of who was actually doing what in the business. And it transpired that one person in there who had a senior position wasn't doing anything, And I mean anything other than opening a post.
Wow.
So it was this kind of like, okay, he needs something to do. We really need to
leave
give
the
him
company, yeah.
to go, or we need to give him responsibilities, and he needs to take ownership. And that's what it's all about. It is, you know, I know you know this, Damien, that people in business don't always take ownership of their business, and they want it just to happen, and you know, because they might have a good product or a good service, and they want to blame everybody else for it not working. And it's, you know, as a business owner, you have to take ownership and look into yourself about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and how you are delegating and what you're delegating. And if you don't do that, you're going to come unstuck.
So here's a revelation for all the entrepreneurs out there. If you didn't know this, right, no one cares about the business as much as you do, right?
No.
And most of those people that you employed that you think are doing an amazing job, they actually look like the elephant over there with the slopey shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah. And
just so you know, so many entrepreneurs going, oh, I wonder who that is then. One with the big ears and a long trunk. What has been the biggest mental challenge you've had to overcome yourself as an entrepreneur?
Confidence in myself, I think, to really, you know, I'm now 52, and I've been, you know, in the business world for 30 years. And I've learned an awful lot of stuff. I didn't have to go to university to learn it. I've learned it on the ground, you know, and through experience of many years of experience. And it took a little while for me to actually kind of just, and it's a problem I've always had, but actually kind of believe that I know what I'm talking about and understand what I'm talking about, and have the confidence to go with that, and have the confidence to say no to people.
It's always nice when you get the results as well, because then you just...
Absolutely. And results are measured in different things. It's not just about money.
Yeah.
Not for me. It's just not. It's to see an entrepreneur, to see a client be reinvigorated, to get that passion back for what they're doing. That's the big buzz for me, to see that. Obviously the money's great. I'm not going to say no to money, but that's not the only thing to be measured.
Yeah. If you had to start all over again from scratch, what would you do first?
What, with Andromeda, do you mean?
Yeah, so if you had to, so take it back to like the day you started the business, and you got a clean slate. What would be the one thing that
I think I would start networking sooner, because I had a handful of clients. I didn't promote myself. I didn't market myself, because I was comfortable that I thought, oh, I've got these clients, and you know, I'm earning fantastic money. And but the nature of what we do as business coaches, consultants, is to make ourselves redundant. That's our end game, is actually to make ourselves redundant with the client. We take, you know, we show them the way, we can lead them the way. And I'm a very much a hands-on business coach. So I get very immersed in a client's business if they want that. But then the aim is they can do it without me. So I do, you know, I'm not indispensable.
Yeah.
So I would network and build up my contacts earlier, and I didn't do that. I didn't. Yeah. And so yeah, that would be the one thing that I would change.
If anyone out there is thinking, oh, I really don't want to do networking, I'm really scared of that.
Networking.
And the great thing about it is you want to get out there, especially if you've got a new business, you want to get out there and talk about what you do to others as soon as possible, and just hear how it sounds, you know, hear yourself actually saying it. When someone says, what do? You need to be able to say, you know, what you do, who you do it for, why you do it, pretty much, you know.
And the big thing is, it sounds cheesy and it sounds cliche, but people do buy people.
Absolutely.
So if you want people to buy from you, they need to know you better.
Absolutely. Okay, if you're in charge of UK business right now,
it's
a difficult one, because right now we've got like COVID-19 still. I mean, God, I've been saying this for months now, but you know, right now, what would you do to help entrepreneurs and business owners?
Right, now, are you ready for this? This is one piece. Several things. I think initially for business startups, I would want there to be more grants available to teach them business fundamentals, the basic stuff of business. Because a lot of what I end up doing, and this would be people that have been in business for many years, is they are still missing some basic fundamentals of what their business should be doing for them and how it should be doing it. And if there was some kind of grant available for anyone setting up, you know, I think that would be an awesome thing. You know, I guess there's lots of things that people can go and buy, but when you're starting out, you don't necessarily have the funds in the pot to be able to invest in that. And it's invaluable information. You know, you can read it, but to actually sit and work through and have proper training in it. And I'm not talking about a degree or anything. I'm talking about literally learn what the basics are. People set up in business because they're good at they've got a good skill or a good trade, and they've been putting money into their previous employer's pocket and think, right, well, I could do this for myself, but they don't understand all the things that they need to do to become successful. So that's one thing.
I was in a business recently where they had someone from the marketing department in who didn't actually know what a customer avatar or a customer acquisition cost was. And I was thinking, hold on a minute, you must have actually done like some studying in marketing to be, it's really scary.
You know, it terrifies me. And, you know, I've got a marketing company as well. And, you know, we go into the real depths of behind marketing, the marketing foundations. This is before you look at all of the approaches like social media and websites and blogs and everything, and the work and the understanding that's needed in marketing, people don't have. And we've had people that have done marketing degrees come on it and learn, and which is frightening, because if you're setting up in business, where do you go? Who do you trust that is giving you the right information? Because there's a lot of charlatans out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and if you're new to business as well, you've got to realise that if you don't sell what you can have the best product and service in the world, but if you don't sell it, you don't have a business.
No.
So actually, and we're all in sales, right? You know, and people have to realise this. Your kids are in sales. When your kid wants something from the sweets at the front of the shop, right, they're in sales. So, you know, get used to it. When you're trying to ask someone out on a date, you're in sales. It's not a dirty word. It's actually a good word.
That's exactly right. And, you know, and every client I talk to, when I talk to their team, you know, and especially when I worked at the accountancy practice, because accountants are accountants because they just like to, you know, be with the numbers. They're not wanting to do the front bit, and that's changing. That world is changing.
It is.
And you know, massively. And you know, everybody is a representative. As I said, so instead of looking at it as you're selling your business, you're a representative of it. You are spearheading, you're the figurehead for your business or your employee's business, whether you have that role or not. That's what you do. No different when we were at school, and if you were in school uniform, if you got caught outside of school in your uniform doing something you shouldn't be doing, the school would come down on you. You know, it's that kind of, instill that kind of discipline for your business and, you know, and for your employees' business.
And on that basis, what has been, I mean, I think apart from networking, because I think networking is a fantastic marketing tactic. So, but what has been your best marketing tactic? I'm going to specifically say a digital one. So let's narrow it down here, because otherwise it's, you know, we can go a bit niche here.
Okay, best marketing tactic. I think was doing a series of webinars, actually. Training webinars.
Okay.
And they were free. So I think that was probably the best thing. And I was doing that. I did that years ago before it became the thing to do. We would do that because it's a good way to show people what you can do and what you're about in a non-threatening, non-pushy kind of way. So I'd say, yeah. Webinars, you know, that in the digital world would definitely be that.
Is that something you might go back to? Because last week when I was speaking to Pete, so Pete Can, who was on last week, and we talked about his best marketing tactic, and he was going, "Oh, do you know what? That was actually a really good marketing tactic. We're going to do it again."
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, what's been your favourite business book and why?
Jen, this is a really hard one because there are so many different books out there, and for me, when I pick a book up and I have to be captured by it quickly, and hold my attention quickly. And there's a lot of authors out there that are kind of rewriting and saying the same stuff that they've said before. But I think if I'm looking back, one of the most impactful books when I was setting up was The E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Yeah, love that book.
And I think because when I was first setting out on my own, I mean, bear in mind I was a coach and I've been in business before, so I've been a director of a training company before, and I've had a sales team and everything. But actually going out completely on my own, flying solo, was a whole different mindset. And the E-Myth and Beyond the E-Myth were good because it wasn't preachy. They're not preachy books, I didn't find. And but I wouldn't say that I would be like, yes, everyone's got to read it. It's just that was just one that resonated with me. What helped me the most weren't business books, but were personal development books. Mm-hmm. So it was for me understanding what my blockages are and what my limitations were and how I could overcome them. Yeah. And that was the most powerful and impactful thing, because I already knew what to do in business, if you know what I mean. So I didn't need to be told that. So for me, it was very much about the mindset.
Like it. Okay, so are you an early bird or a night owl? And what is you're a night owl. So what's your nighttime routine?
My nighttime routine? Oh, God. I don't drink decaf. I drink decaf coffee from 4 o'clock onwards in the afternoon, because I thought that's the thing that kept me awake, and then it makes no difference. And my biggest issue is stopping this brain whirring and whizzing around. Mm-hmm. So I've tried reading, and all that makes me want to do is read the book even more. And seriously, it does. So, and this happened to me last night. And because if I know I've got a lot coming on, and especially if I know I've got to be up early the next day, being a night owl, I worry that I'm going to oversleep. So then I don't sleep. So at 3 o'clock this morning, I need something that is just going to shut my brain down. So I've got this app on my phone that plays thunderstorms, plays all kinds of stuff, but it's nice. Thunderstorms that actually, I lay there listening to a thunderstorm and I go off to sleep with that.
What, can you tell us what the app is? Because I want to get that.
Yeah, sure. It's just called, let me have a little looky here, Sleep Booster.
Oh, nice. I'm going to get that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so it gives you breathing exercises to do, and then it goes into this meditation piece. There is an option to have some woman talk at you, and she just irritated me. And I thought, well, this is kind of being counterproductive. But I could switch her off, so I do, and I just jump straight to thunderstorms. And you can put on how long you want it for, or it could be a fire crackling or wind blowing through the trees, that kind of thing.
I'll put the link to that in the show notes so that people can access it.
It's been so good, and that got me straight off, so that was fine.
I was awake last night trying to think how Baker Street was recorded in a Vauxhall factory. Maybe I was asleep actually. Well, I don't think that was actually awake. I think that was actually a dream. There were 3 top lines. One was a clarinet, one was a flute, and one was an oboe. It was like, I think I was asleep.
Well, one of the other things I'll do as well is that I will pick one of my favourite films, my all-time go-to happy films, and I will replay it in my mind. So I'll lay there with my eyes closed and I'll run through the film.
Oh, good. Well, that's going to come in useful in 2 questions' time. But in the meantime, okay. What do you think the consulting industry is going to look like in 50 years from now?
Oh,
tricky one, eh?
It is, because it's whether you're talking about people that really are business consultants, business coaches, or people that haven't. I'm going to get shot down in flames for this, aren't I? That haven't succeeded in other things. So think that being a business coach is the easy route, because there are people that I've met who think it's easy, and it's not. It really isn't, because you have this massive responsibility to your client and to be supporting them in the right way. And, you've got to make sure that it doesn't go belly up, because it's your name, or, it's not just their business, but it's your reputation on the line. Mm-hmm. I think it's very much going online, digital support, which is great, because it means we get a far greater well, we get a worldwide reach now. You know, I've got clients over in America. I know you have, and so you can be anywhere in the world and support business. So where it be in 50 years' time, I think it's going to be all online.
I agree. And I just want to pitch in on this one because I've had a thought about this one as well. I actually think the gap between consulting and coaching is going to get wider. Because I think they're going to certainly differentiate, and I think they're very different skills. But I also think the level of accountability is going to go up because of technology, and I think actually that's actually where a lot of the good work can be done with both coaching and consulting, is when you hold people accountable and they actually go and do it. Because, you know, as you said earlier, it's like the bit that gets in the way is you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
well, one of the things, flipping back to one of your questions about legislation, was another one of my things, was for existing businesses, was a grant to be able to help them convert to be part of the digital world.
I like that. That's really good. Okay, so what is your favorite business or entrepreneurial movie, and why? And if they made a movie about you and your business, who would play the starring role?
Oh, lordy. Right. My favorite business movie was The Founder.
Cool.
Really enjoyed that, because that's very much about you know, Ray Kroc, who, for those that don't know, created the McDonald's franchise. He wasn't McDonald's, but he saw this restaurant and saw that they had this fast food service and thought, wow, that's amazing, these two brothers running this restaurant, and decided, had the vision that it was something that could be rolled out across America and then the world. And I love that, because I'm a systems and processes girl. My background is in business systems analysis and design, and it's about management. So the idea and the concept is that if something is systemized and process driven, then you can roll that out, and then the success is then dependent on good management of that. And so that kind of really resonated and fit in with me. And what was interesting was that, you know, when you look at business films, there's lots of Wall Street type movies and cutthroat movies. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and I said, I will never be a millionaire because I'm not cutthroat enough. And, you know, and it seems that those that are incredibly wealthy have to be. And I said, so I never will be, because I'm too much of a softie, I think. But yes, so I would say The Founder. And I actually watched Steve Jobs last night, the film Steve Jobs last night. Funny enough. And so it was, I enjoyed that. But no, The Founder is still the number one business.
So come on, who's going to play you then? Who's going to play you?
Jolie, come on.
Sorry?
Angelina Jolie.
Brilliant, fantastic.
Actually, do you know what? I would actually love Tom Hanks to play me. Tom Hanks is I just love it. I love him. So Tom Hanks, in drag.
Superb. I love that. That's going to come out as one of the highlights, I think.
Tom Hanks in drag. Tom Hanks kills every movie. You've got a Tom Hanks film.
It's true.
Everyone falls in with it.
It's going to be a blockbuster.
I think Tom Hanks could do me.
Excellent. And what, the elephant in the room? What would you call it?
Oh, Andromeda.
Where did the name come from, by the way?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Andromeda is a name that has been with me since teenage years, actually, and it kind of stems back from, you know, you have I think it was Greek mythology with the heroine that, you know, with the princess Andromeda. She was chained to the rocks, and Perseus, the prince, had to come and rescue her from the sea monster and all of that. So there is that element. But it's more I'm a space geek, so there's something you didn't know about me, and it's a galaxy. So for me, when you're in business, you reach for the stars, and so it kind of became that thing that was fitting in my old business, where the training company that I had. All of our computers were networked, and mine was called Andromeda. So Andromeda has been with me. So when I set up on my own, it was like, got to be Andromeda.
Do you want a really cool fact about Andromeda?
Pardon?
Do you want a really cool fact about Andromeda?
Go on.
I use this in some trainings that I do. Now I might get the numbers a little bit wrong here because I'm a bit rubbish with numbers, but the time it takes for the light to go from the moon to our eyes is something like 30 seconds. Might be 3
Right.
seconds. I think it's 3 seconds. The time it takes from the light to get from the sun to our eyes is 8 minutes. Right. Our closest neighbor, our closest galaxy, is Andromeda.
I know.
And the time it takes from the sun in Andromeda to get to our eyes is 2.4 million years. Now, if that doesn't make you realise that actually we're actually quite small.
We are, but you still reach for it. You reach for the stars. So yeah.
Cool
Yeah.
fact though, eh? So people listening to that go, what? 2.4 million years? Eh? Yep. 8 minutes, 2.4 million years. That's our neighbour. It's like you can't pop next door for a cup of sugar. It's not going to happen. So, final question: what are your plans for expansion? And there's plenty of room to expand in the universe, or exit.
I don't know that I'm ever going to stop. Because I have been. It's like, as I mentioned earlier, since I was a kid, I've been a problem solver, and if someone needs help, then I'm there to help. It's like through these really bizarre few months that we've gone through, I've given my services completely free of charge for people in business that have needed help because they needed it, couldn't afford it, and were terrified. I'm sitting here kind of thinking, well, I can help you, let me help you. So that's my nature. So I don't think I'll ever stop until people don't want my services, I suppose.
I love that, and I'm 100% with you. So I'm going to retire and write books. So that's what I'm carry on writing and doing webinars and stuff like that.
Yeah, and just talking to people, because this is where the business therapist bit comes from. Because I always hated the word business coach, and every client said I was more of a therapist than anything else to them, because I helped carry a burden and I helped deal with issues and problems and work their way through. And so that's where business therapist is. And I'm never going to stop being that or doing that.
Love it. I've been described as a mental osteopath, so I kind of get it.
Yeah. Yeah, so between the two of us, we can really work our magic.
Oh yes, get two of us in a room and you're in trouble. Fantastic. Kirsty, if our listeners want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
They can contact me on my mobile telephone, which is 07521 790 or contact me through my website, which is www.andromedaconsulting.co.uk.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for taking this brief delve into the real lives of real entrepreneurs. And can I ask that you and anyone listening share this podcast with anyone who you think might benefit from listening to a podcast about starting businesses, running businesses, and actually general life, really. And please like us on iTunes and subscribe on YouTube, and hit the comments button if you want to as well. If you'd like to take part in the show, just drop me an email at damien@rethinkingbusiness.biz, and we can have a chat. Here's to your future success, Kirsty, and see you soon.
Thank you.